I'm Shae Russell from mining.com.au and I'm coming to you once again from the Noosa Mining Conference. And here with me today to play with all the silver is Andrew McElway, the Managing Director of Investigator Resources. Andrew, how are you, mate?
I'm fine, and I've been called worse things, Shae, so no problem.
I love talking to you. I also love people who come with toys. Now, most well-adjusted people probably don't think rocks are toys, but rocks are toys. Before we get into the cool art project that you're working on, let's go through some of these core samples because,
Wow.
that's got some serious weight to it.
We'll start with the, this is the final product, obviously, what we're trying to do, and this is a silver bar. So half a kilo of silver today worth $750.
Okay.
But interestingly, this is how most jewellers buy it, so it's easier to melt. But it comes from our rocks at Paris, our silver project.
Yes.
It will come from.
It will come from.
Yeah.
All right, now I can see that some of these rocks have been mishandled as they go from conference to conference and they're now safely trapped in perspex. Let's talk about the Paris project. Obviously, these rocks have come from there and you're going to be producing silver from the Paris project soon. What stage are you at?
Yeah, so Paris is about 7 hours drive from Adelaide, central South Australia. We are in the last stages of completing the definitive feasibility study. We'll actually have that out in the market this quarter.
Yep.
So all of the things we've done behind the scenes with environmental studies, water tests, all those things. Also our engineering work's about 95% complete and we're just pulling together the costings. So this quarter we'll see the DFS out, which is really, we work out whether it's a girl or a boy and how we take that forward from there.
That's such a good way of putting it. All right, so why do you bring these core samples out? Because not everybody's a geologist and they don't actually know what they're looking at.
Well, look, neither am I, but I'll try and bumble my way through it. But one of the reasons I actually bring this one out, and you're right, I broke it last year.
This has seen better days.
It has, but it's the brecciated mineralisation which forms the ore body at Paris. And why I use it is that it's actually quite friable and quite soft.
Yeah.
So one of the beauties of Paris is that we won't have to drill and blast everything. A lot of it will just be soft enough to be able to dig out, or we simply rip it with a bulldozer and then dig it. There's about 30% at the bottom we'll drill and blast, but most of it, which we'd like to think lends itself to a cheaper mining cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's super important to talk about. You are right, because when people think drill and blast, obviously adds a huge amount to expenses. So having that soft rock makes a big difference and reduces your cost, which are all going to come out in the DFS, aren't they?
Exactly. And the thing also, because it's a bit curious, everyone can predict the drill and blast cost, but because this comes down to mechanical or efficiencies of trucks and so on, we've formed an alliance with a mining contractor. The Goldings are a subsidiary of NRW, and they're doing all of the mine planning, scheduling and costing for us. And we haven't told them how we want it done. We just want it done cheaply.
Yep.
And they'll come back with a mine plan, the best equipment, fleet selection and so on that suits that. So that's all gets folded into the DFS.
All right, so with a project 7 hours from Adelaide, what kind of local infrastructure have you got?
None.
Oh.
Yeah,
so you're responsible for all of it
absolutely.
Then. So this is all coming out in the DFS as well?
I used to describe it as Gilligan's Island, no light, no motor car. So we have a reasonable road that goes past us. We'll develop a more substantial access route, but we'll be responsible for power and water on site.
Okay.
So,
and how do you manage that, bringing water onto site?
Well, in fact, we've done part of the DFS work was a hydrological study, not only to work out what water we had to pump from the open pit, but also where we were going to get processed water from. We have a number of processed water sites. We'll end up having to use a reverse osmosis plant to produce potable water, but we can also just truck it in from the local community as well.
Yep.
So.
Just heard a glass smash. Tells us what time of the day we're having the conference.
Close.
It's getting there. All right, now before we wrap up, I will not let you go anywhere without a little bit more of an in-depth conversation about some of the cool rocks, in spite of you not being a geo. Because this is actually tungsten, not silver, because you've got silver here and you've got tungsten here.
That's right. So we've got a bit of a byplay in the Northern Territory so we're running into a tungsten project. And I think in the past I've said people asked me what I was smoking when I moved from focusing on silver, but our silver project will take a while to get through the regulatory process in South Australia, and we wanted something else to work on. So we're burnt into a project. We own 25% of it now in the Northern Territory, and this is in fact a core from the Molly Hill project, and you can't see it because if you shine it under UV light, the mineralisation fluoresces. It's really cool. But tungsten has a myriad of uses, and not only is it heavy, this is 2.5 kilos.
Is it really?
Yeah. It has the highest melting point of any metal in the world, so you actually 3,500 degrees. So it gets used in lots of things, military applications, even the little ball in the end of your ballpoint pen's got a bit of tungsten in it, but cutting tools, drilling tools, used everywhere. It's a critical mineral, and that's important because we'll get some funding to help to take the project forward.
That is incredible. All right, now let's wrap up with the Paris project, where we started. Obviously, the DFS is underway.
Yep.
What comes next? Investors are an impatient bunch, especially when it comes to silver. We've got the silver price popping. What can we expect to hear in the next couple of months?
Sure. So the DFS will come out, and we've got nearly $2.5 billion worth of silver in the ground, and certainly incumbent on me to work out how we get that out.
Love that, sprinkling that number into the conversation. Well done.
But I'm not sure if you can see it, but our share price just follows the silver price. That's it. 95% of our value is ascribed to that. Paris is a really simple project in the middle of nowhere. There's no impediments from, there's no conflicting land use, there's no community that we have to relocate, there's no downstream water users. So we think our pathway to approvals will be pretty straightforward. So that's what we've got on the plate in front of us.
Listen, you've got a great 6 months ahead. Thank you for letting me touch the rocks. It's always good fun.
If you can pop that in your pocket and walk away with it, you can.
I think it might rip my pants.
My pleasure.